The first time I met the captain, I was drunk, filthy, and damn near destitute, clinging to the arms of a troubled woman like a piece of wreckage caught in a storm. Not unaccustomed to ferrying the sloppy weight of inebriated men, Claudette held me upright, with one arm low around my back and the other stretched firmly across my waist. She was a friend, not a lover, but her strong arms were tender around me as the two of us stumbled toward the Goodnight Mermaid, a tavern known as much for its ale as for its hospitality to women of the night, like Claudette, and the disreputable men who fancied them. The crew of the Riptide was foremost among the latter, although its captain, a man named Winters, did not waste his time on such frivolities. "This is a fool's errand, Marin Smith," Claudette hissed in my ear. The pretty lilt of her Caribbean accent was flat with frustration. "You've had too much wine. I think you should sleep off this compulsion before it becomes the end of you. I do not wish to see you dead." I refused to acknowledge the truth of Claudette's warning, even as it echoed horribly in my chest. This compulsion would very likely be the end of me. "I have to do this, Claudette," I told her finally, as the feel of my boots, still awkwardly large though we'd stuffed the toe with cotton, became firm on the gravel. I drew in a deep swallow of air, wishing one could drink bravery from the wind. "It's now or never. Go." She sucked her teeth at me. "I have never left you before," she spat. "I will not begin now." "Please, go," I repeated, pulling the brim of my hat low in an attempt to shield myself from her eyes. I tested my footing again on the loose boards of the tavern's porch, satisfied by the creaking noise of the rotted wood. I pushed myself off the doorframe and stood solidly on my own in the door. Claudette stood still for a second longer, the tips of her fingers gently tucking away a stray lock of hair that had escaped my hat as she committed to memory her final view of me. Then she softened. "Adieu, mon chéri," she whispered. Her voice now returned to the gentle whisper she reserved just for me. "I hope to see you again." Then her lips brushed against my cheek, and she was gone. I watched her shadow disappear into an alley between the buildings, and wondered if I would ever see her again. I had never been much of an optimist, but the parting was as somber in my mind as it had been on Claudette's lips. I would never see my beloved friend again. Of that I could almost be certain. But it was as much for her as for myself that I made my way to the tavern, and for all of us on Isla Perla. And so I steeled myself for the task ahead, adjusted the belt's rest atop my hips, and took my first step inside the Goodnight Mermaid, with the hopes of becoming a pirate.